Tama Potaka was on Mata with Mihingarangi Forbes. And there is a lot about this that we're not showing you. You can see it's a 30 minute, 26 minute interview. You should go and check it out. It's on YouTube. YouTube is this new platform that TVNZ doesn't know about. It shows videos, Chewie. It's like a hub for various videos, like a hub for news and other things as well. Like a
That's
news
crazy.
hub.
That's never going to take on.
Yeah, no. We're not playing the bit about fast tracking. If you want to know yourselves, fast tracking is about 4 minutes and 19 to 6 minutes and 50 in this clip. And we could have played it, but we would have, we have to have some restrictions due to time. But what I want to say is what Tama was constantly talking about. He was constantly going on about expectations. When fast tracking's happened in the past, and Mihingarangi actually talks about to Tama's iwi, maybe even his whānau, that they got screwed over, and there was a dam that was built and it killed the bird life and fish life and all the, and he said, well, the difference now is there are these different expectations, and there's an expectation that they will consult iwi, and there's an expectation that, and our expectation is now, but there's nothing, that word is doing a lot of heavy lifting, because to be honest, expectations don't mean shit unless they're put into process. Chewie, we have expectations that often never get fulfilled. Like what I'd like to hear is there is a requirement to consult. There is a requirement to get this group that are going to be impacted from fast tracking. There is a requirement to get them on board and agree. There's an expectation you will consult with iwi. Means fuck all. It means I emailed them. Literally, I consulted. I emailed. That was the expectation. So we have to be really careful with the language that they're using. When, again, harken back to Monday afternoon when we were talking on this panel, I talked about the thing with the history syllabus is what this government is talking about is quote unquote bringing balance. What they're meaning is getting rid of a whole bunch of treaty stuff is bringing balance. So this government uses words and phrases that sound, everyone's equal, that sound on a singular level one conversation as safe. And yes, we all want everyone to be equal, but then how they put that into practice is the danger. So in this instance, our expectations is doing a lot of heavy lifting, and that's a word that he's used a lot. I feel like I kind of need to play some of that other one now. Maybe at the end, if we've got time, I'll go back and play it. That they're using those words a lot, and they feel like we talked about this before the election. It's the shell game, Chewie. And we're actually seeing the shell game in action now, because they're saying expectation. Fast track's gone through. Maori aren't happy. Yeah. But we did consult them. That was the expectation. So I'm just putting it out there. These are the things we need to keep an eye out for. This first clip though, Chewie, we're going to play is he was kind of challenged about a statement he made to do with fast tracking. And I guess it literally means, for example, fast tracking of infrastructure through a native area, through flora and fauna. And he actively said, I believe, we can't be expected to save all species. So this government is actively putting out there that their infrastructure, what they're going to build and do and mine is likely going to kill off some of New Zealand's native flora and fauna, be it regionally or altogether. Have a listen to the conversation between Mihi and him about that.
Still a little bit on the fast track. Recently, in a response to the fast track, you said saving every species.
Marae hapu iwi. There's a lot of.
Oh, sorry guys, that just jumped by itself. I'll have to go and load up the other one as well. This is this little interlude that you live guys are the only ones that get. This won't be in the clip tomorrow.
This is a BTS.
This is just for you guys. We'll start it again.
Still a little bit on the fast track. Recently, in a response to the fast track, you said saving every species was aspirational and couldn't be achieved. Your statement upset many.
Yeah, just to start off with, couldn't be achieved. So it's not going to happen. Every species is not going to be saved, Chewie. Now, this has got 2 or 3 minutes to play, but that one sentence, if you want to comment on it now, you're more than welcome to.
I just want to wait. It was impossible, or thought to be impossible, to bring back the kakapo. And we're doing it.
Yeah.
It's short term thinking.
But do we really want to be put into a position of having to fight to bring back a dying species because they can't guarantee that they'll save every species? Look, we'll keep going though.
When is aspirational being throwaway of like, we can't do it?
Yeah.
It's aspirational.
Yep. All right, here we go.
Particularly environmentalists. What was your statement based on? Why can't we attempt to save every species?
No, I think that the Department of Conservation and actually a lot of public, private, philanthropic and community entities are doing their very best to save species throughout the
job
country.
cuts.
It's not the
Funding
question.
cuts.
It's not the
Job cuts
question.
and funding cuts.
It's not the question. She asked you why can't we, and you're saying some are.
Certainly know from my own personal experience, being in this role for a few months, seen the diligence and the professionalism of the team at the Department of Conservation to work with others. Great projects around the country like Te Kotahi o Te Taio down at Te Taio Wildere or Abel Tasman National Park and Project Maunga down at Taranaki Maunga. You've seen a real enthusiasm to save and move species from a threatened and at-risk space into a persisting space. And we're talking about 4,500 species, a lot of species.
This is a long non-answer. He hasn't answered the question yet. He's saying there are people out there saving species. The question was, you say there's no guarantee we can do this. This is what we want to hear an answer to.
The 80,000 native species that we have in the country that are either threatened
So
or
are
at
you
risk.
committed to saving every species
We are
or
committing
not?
to doing our very best, and I am too, and I encourage the Department of Conservation to team members, Penny Nelson and others at the Papatawhai, to do their level best to do that. We do operate within fiscal parameters and fiscal responsibility, and certainly the budget that we have at the Department of Conservation, nigh on $700 million.
It's a random word generator.
Yeah.
Is
This not an answer. Are you committed to trying to save? It's not an answer yet.
total budget to look after 30% of all the land and resources in New Zealand, and in addition to that, some of the marine space. So we are stretched thin.
But it's a decision.
Yeah. So I think Mihi's going to say it. I won't interrupt you. It's a decision they've made for funding. Sorry.
And in addition to that, some of the marine space. So we are stretched thin.
But it's a decision at the end of the day, and it's a financial decision because you're spending $2.9 billion on tax deductibility for landlords and $3.7 billion a year on tax cuts. You could instead spend $6 billion on saving our unique flora and fauna.
Yeah, I think there are choices that have been made by successive governments over time, and certainly my advocacy.
Your government.
You can't claim that. You've just been given $6.5 billion that you've chosen to cut out of New Zealand. You can't do that.
For the
Sorry, I'm going to interrupt. This question here. Dude, you wait for the next question. You think this is uncomfortable? You wait and see, my friend.
within Cabinet and across my colleagues, but particularly with our Manu Putea and Minister Willis, is to make sure that we have the appropriate resources dedicated to what we need to do within the Department of Conservation and across other departments, because it's not just Te Papatawhai that does work in this space, in the environmental space, the Ministry for the Environment, there's Ministry of Primary Industries and others too. But certainly from my perspective, the priority to make sure we know where is high conservation area, what can we do in order to do that, and we go through processes for other areas within the DOC estate that have more commercial incentives, like, for example, the ski fields.
Yeah. Okay, Chewie, what are your thoughts, my friend? I'm going to go just double
What
check that
the
other video.
Fuck
Yeah.
was that?
Talk about word salad, eh?
Oh, you know, look, we gave Luxon shit for throwing a Scrabble bag of letters into a ceiling fan. That was, I've now watched a drowning man.
Yeah.
Like, Mihi pushed him into a pool and just watched him. It was cold.
Yeah.
Didn't even throw him a wee lifeline. I think whilst Tama was in the paddling pool, he could have just stood up. That's deeply concerning. Like, New Zealand is a lifeboat for biodiversity. We have things here that are not found anywhere else.
Yeah.
Shane Jones wants an open pit mine wherever he can fit one, conservation land or not. And again, in the scheme of things that we're talking about, that's short-term possible gain. All of that profit's heading offshore. There's some wages. You know, there was an interview with Shane the other day where he was just going, oh, well, these companies will have to pay PAYE. Really? That's what you're going to talk about, PAYE, when you're talking about the billions of dollars that these mining companies want to extract? Because they've paid hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars to get to this point. It's worth it to them. But we're sitting there going, oh shit, carnivorous land snail, not sexy as a kiwi, gone, cut it. Hector's dolphin, that gone, don't need it. What was it? Bridges said once that there's plenty of fish in the sea when talking about Hector's dolphin. Just, and look, I saw it. Who said it? This is very, very true. Peter said it. John Key's government had a goal of predator-free New Zealand. This is quite an about-face from Team Blue. Yeah. Absolutely. Because they're all bought. They've all been bought and fucking paid for by the mining companies. And when Tama was going, oh, we're stretched thin, you chose that. You made that choice to slash Department of Conservation funding. You made them cut wages to hit their new budget, cut job roles. You're stretched thin because you stretched them. You made that choice.
Yeah. Mike also says they fucking don't care. They don't understand the diversity of species nowhere in the world, and same time, the breakdown of ecology. I'm fascinated by Tama Potaka because, as people said in the chat, he doesn't look comfortable there. We're about to play you another clip, and whilst not maybe the same bombastic aggression that you might see between a Winston Peters and a Jack Tame, this is one of the most uncomfortable I've ever seen a politician. See, Tama Potaka he speaks fluent te reo, right? He knows his whakapapa, he knows the rules, he knows the customs, he knows all about it. He's about to get challenged by Mihingarangi Forbes about ACT's interpretation of the treaty. And she asks him deadpan, do you agree with ACT's interpretation of the treaty? So you've got these Maori academics and language experts saying one thing. You've got ACT saying another. Maori language academics and experts, do you disagree with all of them and agree with ACT? And this is a sight to behold. This is a sight to behold.
Aotearoa's most esteemed te reo Māori translators have written an open letter to the government.
Yes.
Their concerns are the upcoming Treaty Principles Bill is based on a highly inaccurate translation that breaches international ethical standards of translations and risks enshrining fiction as legal fact at the heart of our nation's constitutional arrangements.
Damn.
So as a graduate of Panikiritanga, you will have some expertise in this area. Is it not critical when making good law that specialist experts are used to translate, particularly a document so important as Te Tiriti?
Yes, so first thing, e tautoko ana o kōrero he taonga hoki tō tātou reo. Ki au nei he tuā papa mō Aotearoa New Tirini, iwi hapu whānau, e ka kaha tautoko au i te kōrero i tō tātou reo ao pōpō ao. Me te mea nei, I'm also a graduate of Whakatupuranga Ruamano in Te Tirohoi o Wanganui, alongside Te Panekiratanga and Te Aute College. So,
now, I don't want to interrupt him there, but just remember the question he's being asked is, the question he's going to keep coming back to is, do you agree with what the translation is? That's the heart of this question over and over again.
Do you think that the translation of those three articles is inaccurate?
No, we have entered into coalition commitment, the National Party and the ACT Party, around a treaty principles bill based on ACT policy to be taken forward for first reading and to the select committee. That's where we've said what we've said, that's what we've committed to.
But do you think that the translations are inaccurate as our mātanga reo have stated in the open letter?
I think there are various translations given to
well, there's three. There's three, and they're in the bill, and you would have seen them.
I've not seen the bill being presented.
Oh, hang on. Heck, just, anyone's bullshit nerve. I've not seen the bill. Heck, hang on.
They're in the bill, and you would have seen them.
I've not seen the bill being presented yet. No, we know that there's a draft ACT policy, and I've not seen the bill.
Do you trust the likes of Te Haumihiata, Perepi Walker, Tātiri McLeod, Stacey Morrison, as our mātanga reo who say that they are highly inaccurate and they are worried that this is going to be a bill that is going to Parliament?
I have seen the letter, and I'm very appreciative of the letter, and expressed some very genuine concerns. In addition, the National Party and the ACT Party have an arrangement, the coalition commitment, to take a bill forward.
Yeah, except that you are the Minister of Māori Development. Wouldn't Te Iwi Māori expect you to ensure that our reo is being handled, treated, translated to the utmost quality? I mean, do you even know who translated it?
I'm not aware of who within the ACT Party has been involved in doing this work.
Will you chase that up? Is that important to you?
This is very important to me.
So
it's
will you chase it up?
important. It's very important to me to ensure that we follow through on our coalition commitments, but we also follow through on some of the concerns, genuine concerns and legitimate concerns that our mātanga reo have raised.
If you don't find, if it continues to stay the same, those translations that our mātanga reo say are highly inaccurate, will you still support the first reading of that bill?
Well, we are bound by coalition commitments.
But you're a reo Māori speaker, yes, and you're a kaitiaki of the reo. Surely you would not support something where you know it's inaccurate.
Well, my understanding,
Jesus, that's hitting him like a punch,
is that we will follow the coalition commitment. Now, I know there's genuine concerns, and those concerns have been and will be continued to be raised in that process.
Will you take a look at the reo?
I will continue to raise the genuine concerns of constituents and mātanga reo, such as those people who have conveyed that letter.
So you will take a look?
I will take those issues forward.
Yeah, and will that be something?
There you go.
Right.
Now, you know that when we watch these clips, we often jump in and out and kind of expand and kind of angle, but it's like, Mihi needs no help. Mihi needs no help. That was, I mean, I don't have the cultural reference to what that is. Chewie, maybe for you, and I know how much you sort of honour and admire Anzac Day. If you had a belief about that was passionate to you, but then you start getting paid in a job where you had to reject that, how would you do that? How could you do that? I mean, we think about our own personal families. If we had a love for our partner or our mum or our dad, and we had to take a job and get paid, that would lead us to having to say or speak or do or accept my workplace doing something contrary to what my family needed or wanted or believed in. You know, I don't mean to, I'm not judging Tama, I'm just thinking as the bigger picture. How long can we take that paycheck whilst we're shitting on our family, whilst you're shitting on, you know, the honour you want to give to Anzac Day or whatever it is? How does that look? And that is what it looks like, what we just saw, when you get confronted with a political party and worldview, basically getting asked, the people in our space who we respect more than anybody else, who we look to when we need clarification on the issue of te reo Māori, are saying something opposite to what ACT is saying. How do you do that? And obviously, as you heard and saw, stumbling, bumbling, incapable of probably saying what he believes. That's the other thing. He is hamstrung by this party he's in, which then makes me think bigger picture. What the fuck is he doing? Who is he going to be a national to them?
You're being very generous not to judge him. I think there's a whole lot of people judging him right now. But I'm not one of them, because all of us, hand on heart, we've left our keys at home, or we've left our phone at home, or maybe we forgot our lunch when we went to work. This is the first time I've seen a man leave his spine at home. Like, just the whole thing is sitting on the bench at home. I think you've nailed it there, Pat. Like, this is a man who has put years of his life into treaty issues and studying te reo and all of that sort of thing. It's clearly important to him. And he can't find something that ACT has been quite happy to do and go, agree to disagree.
Yeah,
we
true.
agree to disagree on this.
True.
He could have done that.
Yep, true.
And you know, with everything that I agree, I don't agree with ACT's interpretation. But National has undertaken to take this bill to the first reading, and that's what we'll do. But I personally disagree with this. I don't think that is such a hard bridge to cross. I wonder, is this something that would put a man, you go home, you sit down in a chair and you go, oh, fuck, I hate this.
Yeah, then what?
How long can you put up with it?
Yeah.
Like, is he, I don't know him that well. I haven't been following his career closely or that sort of thing. Is this a man that has, the mana to go, I can't do this. I can't keep doing this. This is too important to me. Or is he someone that is more malleable than that?
Mm.
But I think, very much past being on the left of or right of a Western style of government, as a Maori who clearly cares about this stuff. I think if he didn't care, he would have been able to breeze through that interview.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
Like there's a
just lie. He could lie. If he didn't care, he could just lie and just be like, whatever,
Yep.
Don't care.
Yep. And I think there was a line of questioning there from Mihi that was just hitting him like hammer blows. You could see it in his face. He's not good at concealing his emotions in his face.
You mean like
which
this?
is something that I admire
like that
in
moment.
a politician. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's literally taking it on the chin at that point. Yeah, I wonder what that does to someone.
Mm. Yeah. And look, me and Chewie, you already talked a bit about Monday and how much we saw how that kind of foundation of the Maori culture is it really is everything. It's like, and I'm speaking from ignorance here, so forgive me if I'm a bit clunky, but that the way that Maori communicate and live and pass on knowledge and speak and teach, and it's not that they're putting on a show for others, it's that they're training themselves to do. And Tama's grown up in that, and now being told, these guys that we, guys and girls, guys being a plural, respect and look to for the answers all the time. That you're supporting the assholes that are saying they're wrong. How do you feel about that? Yeah, dagger, man, absolute dagger. So,
and look, very similar to what I said elsewhere in the show. Maybe we're two dickheads that have got it completely wrong. Tama, welcome on the show. Come and tell us. Come and tell us where we're wrong, or maybe tell us that we're right.
Before we head off, I will, because I've talked so much about that one, I should have just played it because it's only 2 minutes long. I want to play you a little bit here from the fast track conversation. The only reason I want to play you this is to hear this idea about expectations. Expectations doing a lot of the heavy lifting as opposed to saying there's requirements. I probably won't play the whole lot. I'll just give you an example of what they're doing.
Let me get this right. You're saying that the balancing act is that you will be involved and the Minister for Conservation and Infrastructure will also be involved. Yeah. But that's really in lieu of the public being involved, isn't it? Because under this proposed bill, there is no public consultation or councils or regional councils having their involvement, and that's really what the concern of Maori is that ultimately at the end of the day 3 ministers get to decide. Is that rangatiratanga?
Well, the first thing is that rangatiratanga doesn't come out of a piece of legislation. Rangatiratanga predates the
rangatiratanga comes out of the treaty, and the treaty promises Maori in their rohe to have rangatiratanga over their whenua and their taonga katoa. So my question is, this process, the fast track, is that rangatiratanga for Maori?
No. What I'd start with saying is that rangatiratanga is affirmed by the treaty. It doesn't come out of the treaty, and those things predate the treaty, and that notion of rangatiratanga, mana motuhake and other things predates the treaty. And the treaty and other documents have affirmed it. The second thing is that you take someone who wants to go through an application through the fast track process as it's currently drafted, the expectation is that they will go out and engage with iwi and with other Māori groups who are involved in the area or the piece of land or the resource.
But if they don't,
proposed to be the subject.
3 ministers can just go, sweet as.
Yeah.
So right from the get-go, the expectation and it's announced very well through the proposed legislation, is that there will be engagement on the ground between any proposed applicant and whānau hapu iwi who occupy that area or who are part of that area.
What might that look like? A mining company that wants to come in and quarry somebody's tupuna maunga, what are the rules around having to engage with iwi?
I think the bill observes that or requires that there'd be some engagement. People, and not just an email, but people will go and talk. Proposed applicants will go
Some
and talk
engagement.
with the relevant iwi and hapu who are from that location to identify
We
what
went
the
and knocked on their
content
door,
of the
but no one
proposed
was
application
home.
happens to be. Now, I think that there are a number of areas through the legislation there's been some significant concern that's been expressed. For example, 3 ministers making decisions. But I think we've also seen the Manu Pihopa Minister Chris Bishop has also observed along the way that maybe that's something that can be looked into, come out of the select committee process, and there'll be decisions made as to how the decision making actually takes place, and there might be other options for that.
So there you go. That was basically the clip anyway. And look, the truth is, you heard the word expectation, I think 3 times there, and you heard them talking about the way it's supposed to be done but none of that was like, this is how it has to work, and they need to get these people on board. So I just wanted to show you a bit about the expectations. And through the whole interview, you saw 2 minutes here of a 26-minute interview, that word expectation. I don't know. It feels like it was mentioned 20 times, maybe 10, but it was mentioned a lot, Chewie.
Yeah, there's an expectation or a requirement for them to consult with Māori over these issues. Yeah, but at the end of the day, if they don't, that can be waved away by 3 ministers that say yes or no.
Yeah.
That is a massive overreach, a massive amount of power consolidated down to just 3 ministers. The fast track bill is a horrible piece of legislation. It's mad. I want to make a more positive comment here. Mihi's interview style is amazing.
Yeah.
It's so calm. It's so disarming. And it lets people out there in the open with no cover. It's a very different interview style than we see from a lot of interviewers.
Yeah.
It's refreshing.